12 days before this trip, something happened that changed everything for us. We almost didn't go, but what we found on the other side of the world changed us in ways that we never expected.
On May 3rd, 2024, our son Michael took his own life. On May 15th, we were scheduled to go on my 50th birthday cruise to Australia.
We had two choices. We could either stay at home and grieve on the couch, or we could continue on with the trip and go to Australia and grieve on the cruise ship and hope that something good turned out, which we decided to do. Now, he was buried in a niche that had a phoenix on top of it. Keep this in mind because it's going to come and play later.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a dream, and we were on a cruise, and couples were seeking me out to share stories about our son who passed away. Now, he wasn't in the dream, but I felt like I had to share this story with others in the hopes that someone else may be able to get some healing from spirit out of this.
So we went on the trip, and on our shuttle bus, look at that. Michael G was the driver, and that was our son's name, Michael, and last initial G. So we figured that was our first sign that we had, was his name driving us to the airport.
So we arrived in Sydney. Our hotel was in the Rocks area, which is right next to the bridge. We took a walk around the whole pier area here, went to the Opera House, and got this picture right outside. You can see our big smiles. We're just amazed to be here. Here's the famous Sydney Bridge. And as we were at the Opera House, we put some ashes on the steps for Michael. We decided we're going to start putting his ashes in every place we go, and this was the first one we did that in. Michael always wanted to go to Australia, so this seemed fitting to us to have his first ashes placed in Sydney.
How about this? We actually got to pet this koala. So on our second day in Australia, we took a full 9-hour private tour around Australia, this whole Sydney area. It cost us $850 total for just the two of us in a private van, and it was completely amazing. So we get over to this koala bear whose name was Phoenix. And if you'll remember earlier, Phoenix was going to come into play because our son was buried in a niche with a phoenix on top of it.
Koalas drink very little water. Most of the moisture only comes from the eucalyptus leaves that they eat. Here's a platypus swimming around in here. You'll see peeks of him. It's the only mammal that lays eggs, and they have venomous spurs on their legs to ward off predators.
And here's some petroglyphs we went to. These things are over 30,000 years old, and the way they were laid out on these rocks, it kind of told a story. It's pretty crazy. And some of the beaches in Australia we went to were totally crazy. They're famous beaches of Bondi Beach and some of the other ones. Manly Beach as well, yeah. It was really cool. And then we get to our cruise day, came up the next day. We were in the Rocks area. It was really smooth transition getting into the overseas terminal here. Just really went smooth as easy. It was pretty much the same as it was in the US. And you just get onto the gangway, jump in the ship, walk on down, and you're good to go, having a good time and ready to go. It was smooth and simple.
Here we are at the sail away party. We got to meet our cruise director, Simon, and he was a hoot. So funny. As we're leaving, you could see the Sydney Opera House right outside the window. How often do you get to do something like this? It was just, the views were amazing. The people were fabulous. Of course, all the Australian people on board were just in awe of us being from the US and being on their ship. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, they were pretty cool, but don't try to outdrink them because you won't win. There was some civil unrest in New Caledonia, so our whole trip got changed around, and we got sent off to Vanuatu, where we got to go to Santo and Port Vila, which actually turned out to be pretty cool because, as you're going to see, we stopped at some pretty amazing places.
Our first excursion was a Santo beach escape. It was $229 a person. It was about an hour ride to get to the beach from the port. It was amazing. It was the best beach, water, view, everything all in one that we think we've ever been to. We've been to a lot of beaches. You can see how happy we were here. We were able to smile. We had some fun. There were some fabulous beach dogs when we had lunch, and we figured since Michael loved dogs so much, this would be a perfect place to put some more of his ashes. So we did. Then we traveled about a half hour more back towards the pier to the Blue Hole. The water was perfectly clear. You could see all the fish in it, all the trees touching the water line. The water was freezing, though, as you can see here.
Our next stop was at Port Vila, which was also a wonderful beach. We also felt like this was a good place to stop and drop some more ashes, so we did. It was a wonderful beach to do it at. There was lots of starfish and sea cucumbers. As you can see, we can just pick them up and kind of hold them. Then we went off to a little waterfall retreat with a nice river that had a ton of little waterfalls on it. The water was beautiful. The scenery was beautiful, as you can see here. Very clear water. You could get into it and swim. They also had a rope that you could swing on and jump into the water. It was so amazing and fun to get into. I highly recommend doing this excursion if you go.
This trip was on the Carnival Splendor. This is our 4th time that we've been on this ship. One morning, I was having a particularly rough time in the room. We decided to go to breakfast anyway. As we get in the elevator, there's a couple of women talking about a family member that was having depression issues, and his name was Michael. I took that as a sign to just go ahead and try to have some fun that day.
Yeah, so indeed we did. We went to the casino, and looks like we got a little lucky in the casino. There's a few snips of some of the winnings we had. Seems like every time we've been on the Splendor, we always had good luck in that casino. We haven't had a lot of great luck in some of the other casinos, but we certainly did on this one. I don't know. It was a lot of fun.
We went to the piano bar one night, and there was a fabulous woman named Cassidy Ray in there playing. And we did a whole thing with Wagon Wheel. It was just the best time. We had to stop the song because Brian didn't do the hand motions right. Cassidy was she's amazing. If you ever get a chance to see her, then just do it.
Yeah, definitely do the piano bar.
When we got back to Sydney, there was Vivid Sydney was going on, and it's a whole huge light show around the whole place. It was amazing. So many things. The whole opera house is lit up and everything. This particular guy was doing acrobats, and as we came up, I was listening to the song, and I realized it was the song The Phoenix by Fall Out Boy. And as you remember, we've already had a couple tie-ins with Phoenix, and this was yet another one because Fall Out Boy was one of Michael's favorite bands, so it just tied off this whole cruise fabulously. Unbelievably, as soon as we got back, we had the same driver. We took this as Michael saying, I showed you in the beginning that you could have a good time and go on this trip, and now I'm telling you, when you get home, don't worry, you're going to be okay.
This trip really did show us that we could have joy and that we can be happy and grieve at the same time, and that we could go on and live after the most tragic thing that ever could happen did happen, and that there is hope. I really feel like we both feel like if we didn't go on this trip, that we would be way further behind in our healing process. This trip truly was the best thing that we ever could have done to heal. I know it sounds strange, but it really truly is the best thing that we could have done. It's some people might have called it selfish, but we don't. It helped us a ton. So if you ever find yourself in a situation, unfortunately, like we have, maybe think about a trip. I think that you'll find that you're going to heal a lot easier. If you like this video, found it helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you.